Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from Group 8. Our topic for today will be Maqasid in agriculture for Brunei Darussalam. So before we start, I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Muhammad Kirazimi bin Abdul Wakil, number ID 19B0814. And my partner is
My name is Muhammad Farizuan Fatinuddin bin Asokan, and my ID number is 19B0818.
So without further ado, we proceed to the next slide. So our table of content for today will be definitions, concept of Maqasid in agriculture, agriculture in Islamic economic perspective, dalil and hadith on agriculture, advantage of having agriculture, and also the last one will be our conclusion. So the first one will be the definition of Maqasid. What is Maqasid? Maqasid is, in literal words, is a purpose, objective, principle, intent, or goal. So basically, Maqasid ini is a purpose or objective. In technical meaning, according to Sheikh Muhammad Al-Tahir Ibn Ashur, define Maqasid of Islamic law as the objective or purpose behind the Islamic law. So basically, what according to Sheikh Ibn Ashur, Maqasid is objectives or purpose behind any Islamic rulings. Moving on to the next slide.
So, the analysis of the agriculture based on the concept of Maqasid Sharia. So there's this 5. This is a Daruriyat. So the 5 of it is Ad-Din, An-Nafs, An-Nas, Al-Aq, and Al-Mal. So the first one is Ad-Din. It is actually the protection of religion. You know, when the agriculture is being produced, that production can be given to the infaq, charity, sedekah, or even zakat. Thus, it is for helping each other. So it's to protect religion lah. Kira we support each other and we make sedekah. So it's for us, not only in the dunya and also for the akhirat. So the second one is an-nafs. It's actually protection of life. So protection of life in this case is, protection of life, it means that every production of the agriculture will improve the standard living of people. It means that they maintain the health, food, nutritious or nutrients that keep people alive and for their stronger to keep live longer and stronger. So it is to protect their life. And the third one is an-nasl, which means the protection of reasoning. So in this case, reason is actually, for example, in this case, the parents bring the children to school so that their children can get a higher education. This is to support the parents so that the parents can motivate to do their agriculture business much better lah, so they can motivate. So in the future, when they can expand their agriculture business, and in the future, if they do not want to continue, they can menyuruh their children to sambung dong punya kerja balik, so they could know how the flow of the agriculture. So because their children have the education. So the fourth one is al-aqal, which means a protection of mind. So in this case, it means that the employer or labor is actually have the skills. They should improve orang punya skill di dalam bidang agriculture ni lah, so that they could produce a better a quality and a quantity of the agriculture. And the last one is almal, which is the protection of property. Dengan adanya dorang, they produce a good and quality of the agriculture, the production. I mean, they can increase their sales and generate profit. So their property will increase and increase their economy of the business. Okay. Next. The economics development, agriculture, and Islamic economic perspective. So the number one is farm is a form of a business. So agribusiness is actually a business that is with their own hands. So they could get a blessing from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala with their hard work. With that, they could create job opportunities to other people and reduce unemployment rate. Number two, the farms give benefits for Muslim and animals. You know, everyone and animals needs to eat to survive. Thus, if without plants or agriculture, people will not be stronger and they will die easily because they need the plant to live. And the third one is agriculture is more close to tawakal. So actually, economy is not only about the dunyawi, but it's also for the ukhrawi, because every farmer makes the production, the production will not produce if Allah does not will. So every time they produce, they have to tawakal, which means they have to, tawakal for the result of their agriculture. So next one.
So the next one will be focusing on the statistics of imported rice. So we can see here in 2019, the latest one, we do import a lot when actually we shouldn't, because if we can make agriculture in our own country, for example, rice, it will then reduce the cost or budget in our country. So we can use that as another things lah, instead of just importing rice. So moving on to the next slide. So here's a dalil on zakat of agriculture on firman Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in Surah An-An'am, verse 6, ayat 141. He is the one who has created gardens, trellis and untrellised, and dates, palms, and crops with a variety of edibles, and the olive and the pomegranate, some similar to one another and some dissimilar. Each of its fruits when it bears fruit, and pay its due on the day of harvest. And do not be extravagant. Surely Allah does not like the extravagant. So what's mentioned by this dalil is had shown that Allah had permitted agriculture, so that why not we do our own agriculture in this country and improve it, so that we can give zakat to the poor and needy. Moving on to the next slide. So here's the next one will be the advantages of agriculture in Darussalam. So if we implement agriculture in Darussalam, this will be the points. So number one, it will solve the Brunei problems of lacking source of food. So what's mentioned by this point is, if we make our own agriculture, especially the rice, it will improve our production instead of just relying on other countries' productions. For example, as I mentioned before, which is rice. Number two, it will reduce unemployment, as you know, agriculture is a big industry that Let's need people, more people to do it, because it is a large industry. And the third point will be to alleviate poverty. As you can see, because of the agriculture is a large industry, and we can take the needy people to become to work as an agriculture or a farmer, so that the poverty will be lessened lah. So the final one, last but not least, is to strengthen Brunei economy. So according to the point that I mentioned before, it will then solve lah and strengthen the Brunei economic by the reducing unemployment and the lesson of the poverty lah, NED. So the last one is I will be passed to my partner.
So conclusion, the Brunei, yes, it is very important that Brunei should implement agriculture, because as you know that right now the Brunei is having a crisis on their economy, because you know that they're too dependent on oil and gas, so their economy does not really grow really fast. That's why they need to expand more. Like one of it is by agriculture. As you know, agriculture provides a lot of benefits to the economy of Brunei Darussalam, such as they do not have to import from another country, and they can produce from their own, and they could resell it. They could sell it to another country. That's why they could have a huge profit and boost their economies. And other than that, they could reduce unemployment rate, as agriculture create a jobs opportunity to other people. And lastly, agriculture actually have impacts on zakat, because it helps to alleviate poverty in Brunei Darussalam. It helps people in Brunei Darussalam, so they could live they could reach a standard of living people with other Bruneians. I mean other people. So yeah, that's why the Brunei should implement this agriculture for the country. Thank you.
So that's it from us. Thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.